first of all, we're going to start with a question. And what we would like to know is what motivated you to get involved in the project? And I think it'll be easy if we go in a circle. So, Clive, shall we start with you?
Right, my motivation for starting this was because I need my grandchild to have a better life in the future rather than all this, the things that are going on around in the world. I mean, it's just horrendous. So we've made our lives better and we're not using so much energy.
That's brilliant, thank you. Shall we move on, Tony? You okay? All right. Yeah, that's fine. If you're not going to, then you can just pass it on. That's great. Thank you. So this is Charles.
Yes, I was trying to bring my bills down and try and be greener, I suppose, were my motivations.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Babe, would you like to share? All right, that's fine. Fatimata, thank you very much.
Well, I guess it's because I wanted to be green as well. I mean, looking after the environment, I'm always trying to recycle as much as I can, trying to do whatever I can, my bit for the environment. And when this opportunity came up, I thought, well, that's a brilliant way of helping, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
My motivation was, to try and be greener, and obviously the information is going to be collected, and what I understand, to be used to improve our energy system. So, I'm transitioning from an old council house into a very, very modern. I don't know if it's a passive house or not, but I think it's quite close to being a passive house. So it's going to be interesting to see the comparables between the two. So my motivation is to see, how much different my life's going to be in a much more sort of environmentally friendly home.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay. You have any motivations you would like to share? Why you're involved in this project? I don't want to exclude you. It's your job, but you're obviously very passionate about what you do. So, yeah, is that all right? Yeah. What? Sorry.
No, I'm quite keen on this project because I think there's an awful lot that people don't understand about their electricity consumption because it's quite invisible, the way you use electricity. You can't tell how much your devices are using. And so this project is quite empowering in a way that just these silly little smart plug things can give you a bit of visibility and can really help, hopefully, educate people a little bit and make some changes that will make very little difference to their life, but actually make a big difference to their energy consumption. So hopefully, that was why I thought it was quite a good project to be part of.
Thank you, sir.
James?
I mean, it's good for the city of Bristol to have sort of external funding that comes in to help people reduce the bills, and we can learn some new things at the same time as well. So, I guess I'm excited about the sort of new innovative bits, but I quite like the boring stuff like, just solar panels that have been around for decades and just work and save money. So I like both elements of the new techie stuff and the more commonplace technologies, yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, thanks for sharing. Then we've got another question now. So in the room, we've got different groups. So some people have got solar panels, and then they also have the batteries installed. And then some of the houses, the We Can Make houses, don't have the solar panels or the batteries. However, everybody is going to get the EcoWatt app installed, and that's what those two homes will have. Yep. So this question is specifically aimed at the solar panels with the battery installed. So as I'm understanding, you've had the solar panels in the past, and now you've had the addition of the battery on top of that. And I know all of your installs have happened at separate times, but that might not be relevant. But maybe what we want to know is whether anything for you in your home has changed since you've had the battery installed alongside the solar panels. So some of you have had the battery installed for a longer time. So maybe you might have noticed something already. I'll just leave that. Shall we start with you, Fatimata? Is that all right? Thank you.
I moved into my house like 4 years ago, and I had the solar panels there. I found them there. They were already installed, but I always wondered, why do I have solar panels if I can't use them? Then I started participating in this program, and then I had the battery installed. I haven't noticed much because not having the equip, I don't know how I can notice it. I'm in the process of changing my electricity because I had pay as you go, so now I'm changing it into a, how do you call that? The smart meters, yes, that. So I'm in that process. It's not done yet. It will be done in June. So I don't know, I haven't seen much change. The only thing I've noticed, though, I've got less space. Storage space under the stairs, but it's absolutely fine.
Sorry, can you say to me about storage space? How big is this battery pack then, actually?
It's not massive, but because these houses are quite small, and storage space under the stairs I used to use for shoes, children's shoes, and other bits. So not having that space means like I'm like, all right, I've missed that space. But it's not huge, and the door still closes. I've still got some little space where to put some shoes in, so it's fine.
Thank you very much. Right, Bev, would you like to share for
I
us?
was lucky with the battery because...
Do you mind to...
Sorry, I was lucky with the battery because mine was fitted outside in my shed. So I was like, I mean, it's not indoors, so it's not in the way. It's not in the way out the shed. And as for the energy use, at the moment I'm paying quarterly. But yeah, I did have an email about a smart meter, which I am seriously thinking of changing over, then I could keep my eye on. I do check on my app every day. And like, I mean, I watches a little diagram of the battery going round. But yeah, I do check that every day. But obviously, as for the change out, I wouldn't know, not till I got the smart meter. But yeah.
That's brilliant. So what I'm hearing is engagement, or it's in your mind a lot more than it used to be before. Is that...
Well, yeah, like I said, like I check every day, and I turn around and say, oh, look, like, does that mean we're not getting it from the grid? It's going from, like, you know, the solar panels to the house. Like, but yeah, I do check it every day. And it's so many trees planted, and it's got all the other information, which I do look at it. Yeah, I do check on it.
I like how you're explaining it. So if you can explain that, just like you did, for someone, because obviously our listeners wouldn't have seen that. Can you explain to us what it looks like?
We had the chance of the solar panels fitted, go back a few years ago, when we had it fitted. We was going to have the battery put in there, and it was up in the loft. Didn't have it connected because they want to change all my electricity fittings. And we just decorated, and we said no. But when Sue came and like you said, it's different, the battery's different, and then someone else came and explained to me, and they said, well, we can have it out in the shed. I said, yeah, we go for it. But so yeah, it's not, like, you know, it's not affected us like the battery. And you said it's big, it's small houses, but yeah. So that's worked for us anyway, the battery part.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So where is it that you actually look on to see these trees planted? And can you explain a little bit about that? Yeah, thanks. Yeah. What does that look like? How do you engage with whatever this is that you're seeing? Thanks.
I think so. I do look at it and I think so. I think I'm reading it right. Like, hopefully I'm looking at it right anyway. But
so it's connected to an app.
It's night time. It changed now, wouldn't it? All right. So you can see it going from the panels into the house. Am I reading it right? It's not coming from the grid. I'm using the solar panel, like the electricity from the solar. Am I reading that right?
Probably right now, looking outside, it's grey. There's probably not a lot of sun. It might be coming from the battery at this stage, depending on the time of day.
It's coming from, like, the arrows is coming from the...
Yeah, there could be some So you still get some solar generation even when it's grey. Is yours doing the same? Yeah, so you're getting... Yeah, so that's surprising, actually. So we're getting on for early evening, but I can see Clive's here is producing 158 watts, which what does that mean? Well, that means that it will power your fridge for free. So we're not bad considering it's early evening. So yeah, that's surprising, actually, to be honest, because it's quite grey outside, so shows
Yeah,
they do
because
work
it tells you,
in when
like,
it's
the
not.
grid consumption as well, like, which I am a bit, but I'm
How did
thinking,
you
well, I know
find
if I'm reading that right, like, all my energy is coming from the panels. Yeah?
Did you find the app easy to use? Like, how have you found kind of navigating it and things? Is it?
Well, I must admit, I'm not too clever, but I'm just, like, making it up as I go along. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's right.
There's quite a lot of information in there, though, isn't there, between the different...
Oh, there. Press, mine doesn't have that. Yeah, no, because mine updated. Mine was like that first.
Oh, I haven't updated anything on
Yeah, so, yeah, because I noticed the app have updated. So it's gone like that. So, yeah.
So how many trees have you planted?
we want to hear about the trees.
That's what we want to know.
What did I go on? Function? That one? No.
So we could see who's got more watts currently, Clive or Bev.
Is it that one?
Should we play a game?
Hold on, I gotta get back there first. 150.
And Bev, what can you raise 100? Can you raise more than 150 watts?
What was that, sorry?
Can you raise more than 150 watts of Clive's house? What it's producing just now? What does it say on your app? Does it say there what's currently producing?
112.
Ooh, close, not quite. So actually, that's probably to do. Clive, when were your solar panels installed?
About a year, I think.
So about
About a year ago.
yeah. So solar panels have changed quite a lot in a short space of time in terms of how much they will produce. So to give you an example, probably when the Solab Bristol homes, the previous project, an individual panel might have produced, say, 200 watts, so similar to maybe what an old TV might use at one stage, whereas now there's panels that one panel, slightly bigger, but can produce 600 watts. So that's like all your, base, most of your fridges and freezers and things like that all at once. So that would probably explain why Clive's newer system is got slightly higher production capacity, just because it's slightly newer.
You're in a sunnier place than me.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
South facing?
So are you south-facing on your roof as well, Bev? Or? Yeah.
No.
They usually go on a south or a west roof, really. But
Your art says I planted 0.98 trees.
there you go. Oh, well done.
I've only planted
CO2 reduction,
1.15.
4.9.
That's brilliant.
CO2 reduction, did you say that?
We'll talk about it.
So, Fatimata, are you got access to the app yet as well?
Yes, I have got access to the app, yeah.
But we were trying to get you onto a smart meter, weren't we, so you could see that. So the Equiwatt, when Sam talks about that will provide a similar amount of information, in fact, more detailed information than you get for a smart meter.
I do see that on the app as well, when I go on the app.
Yeah, because it does actually show your current usage as well, which can be quite handy.
It does, yeah.
Well, I've got the smart meter.
So you've got a separate display
the smart
as well.
meter on tells you the exact amount you're using, and it's really good. They're well worth having.
How does that differ between this app here and your smart meter screen? Do you know you get, for those maybe who don't have a smart meter yet, they give you a small little display. It's like It's almost like a mini tablet thing
Yeah,
that shows you
a
your
small one, yeah.
your current consumption.
Yeah, you just click through the programs, and it'll tell you the electric, the gas, together, you know, and what you've used.
And do you find that easier than going onto your phone, or different? Which we, because both will show you how much energy you're using.
I think it's 50-50.
So you look at both. Yeah. Okay.
I keep an eye on it both.
Yeah. Cool. Fatima, did you say June for your smart meter?
7th of June,
Okay.
it will be done. I mean, I've got smart meter, but because I'm not on a debit smart meter, I don't know, it was quite
Yeah.
confusing because I'm paying pay as you go, but it is smart meter, so I can
Oh,
see
you're
my
just switching
consumption.
over the-
I'm just switching over to the other debit
Which
smart
energy
meter.
company was that with?
SSE,
Okay.
yeah. So they will do that on the 7th of June.
So do people know why we're switching over to smart meters as a general quiz item? Any takers? Why do we need smart meters, do you think? Yeah?
You can't fiddle the numbers.
So, yeah, so no tampering of metering to... well, related... yeah, not that I ever did.
Nothing was proven.
But related to that... a serious point related to that, though, means that you don't have to read your meter. So that, you know, to get an accurate meter reading, it's done automatically. So that's kind of one reason why it's important. But the other one, which kind of relates to this project, is a smart meter reads your energy data every 30 minutes, whereas otherwise the only way you get how much energy you're using is when you either look at it on the wall or do your quarterly reading, when you have to go and manually read it. So why that's important is because a lot of things in the future, when we want to use more of our solar panels or maybe use more greener energy from the national grid, it'll mean that we need to know what time people are using certain amounts of energy, so it can then encourage them to use it at, you know, the times that it's good for the environment as well, which is, you know, it's not necessarily rocket science. You know, when the sun is shining outside, even locally, that means nationally there's probably more green energy to be used. So, and lastly, which is some conversations I've started to have with people. I know Danielle, who's not here, is one of the participants. There's going to be new tariffs coming through, which, like the old Economy 7 tariffs that people might remember, where you had 2 rates. Yeah. So those tariffs are going to become more frequent again because of the need to use more renewables at certain times of the day and to use your own renewables. So it's going to be essentially, in a nutshell, trying to discourage significant energy use during what are called peak times, which are normally like when you get home and do your cooking and your washing and that sort of thing, because usually, particularly in winter, it's nighttime, it's dark, solar panels aren't generating, for example. So you can only access those tariffs if you have one of these newer meters. So that's what... There's other kind of reasons, but they're the main kind of 3 reasons why everybody wants you to get a smart meter. Some equally argue that it helps you reduce your energy consumption, but that's potentially debatable in some parts, but there you go.
No, thank you for sharing. That's brilliant. Great. So we still want to hear from Charles and Clive about what's changed for you since you've had your battery installed, because you haven't shared yet. So shall we start with you, Charles, and then Clive? Or do you want to go first? He's already got it. So you go first, and then we finish off with you. Thanks.
Well, I got my system installed in November, and initially I got the app and I just was looking at it all the time. When did you get yours done, by the way? Because I was looking at it all the time, and then I got bored of it because you know, I'd be like, you know, dictator of the house. What are you turning that on for? You know, you can get a bit obsessed about it. And then I got a smart meter in January, and then that did the same thing with that. But now I don't bother looking at them at all, to be honest. Very occasionally I do. But it definitely made me think a lot more about my energy usage. Going from someone who didn't think about electricity usage much at all, really, to now being much more aware of it. You know, I would use, in the old days, I'd be like, did I boil that kettle? Oh, I could do that again. Or, you know, you kind of, whereas I'm a bit more careful about that now. But yeah, I'm really pleased to be part of the scheme. It seems like, it feels like it should be rolled out as far and wide as possible, I suppose, really. If you can generate free, clean energy.
Thanks very much. All right. Clive, thank you.
Well, I've had it for well over a year now, and like you, my eyes are on the meter all the time. I've educated the wife, sorry for whoever's present, but I've educated her where she'll do the washing on days when it's sunny, as opposed to cloudy days, which makes it more economical for us. As for you with the kettle, I've timed it takes 1p to boil a kettle if you've got enough for one drink. And before, I would fill the kettle up. You know, you go to the tap, fill the kettle up, put it on, boof. So you're throwing away 2 or 3p. Doesn't sound a lot, but over a month, that's a lot of money you're throwing down the drain. And when she's doing the washing, we cook now during the day, as opposed to cooking on an evening when everybody's they come home. We're lucky, we're retired, so we can do a cooked meal during the day and just have a sandwich or something on a night. So that's how it's transformed us. We've just gone from one side, throwing all the money away, to we save so much. And I made a little list just to help some of you. And in December 20, we were paying 16.2p per kilowatt, and we used 399 on that month. And then we come down, and now we're down to using just 135. I think I got that right on it.
Can you repeat it again, please? My brain is a bit slow to really get that. Say it again, please.
Right. In December 20, we were paying 16.2p per kilowatt and using 399.1 kilowatts per month. Now, up until last month, I know it's gone up 27.5p per kilowatt, but we're only using 135 kilowatts. And to me, that's a massive difference.
That's more than half of what you used to use.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep, I wrote it all down for you.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's how much it's benefited us.
So is that because of the solar panels, Clive, or is that because you're being more economical? Or is it a combination of the two?
It's a combination of both.
Right.
If you enter into these sort of studies, I'm sure we, as a group, we've all gone into it with our eyes open.
Yeah.
And like I said, I made these comparisons and everything, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But you've got to counteract the increase now, aren't you? You will counteract the increase,
Yeah,
haven't you? Because
definitely.
You made a 2/3 saving, and it's only gone up by 50%. So
Yeah.
You beat it. You beat the price hikes then.
Yeah, only because we've got, I call it photo surveys. So the solar panels, we've got, we use them
so
to
going
their
back to
full
the old days
advantage.
doing your washing on a sunny day, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to get around on the bike cycling, generating electric with a dynamo. Yeah, so going back to smart meters, best thing. You got to have them.
Brilliant. Thank you. It's such a testimony, isn't it? It's so inspiring to hear that, especially in the times we're in, where it all just doom and gloom, money and costs of everything. Great. Thank you for that. That was so fascinating to hear all your stories.